When I announced on X and YouTube that I was going to the Ayn Rand Conference in Berlin, some people were very upset. One guy declared in horror that I had fallen into the rancid rabbit hole of objectivism and Ayn Rand. Apparently, I'm moving into Nutty Town. Others were equally as outraged, and you can see their comments here. This person said, LMAO tick has really reached peak brain rot, being actually serious about the video game caricature that is Ayn Rand's objectivism. Next up on tick, why I think Scooby-Doo villains were actually ideologically sound. And this person, who thinks he's on the side of invisible air spirits, said, sorry, but you're way out of your depth. Libertarianism is neither an epistemological nor metaphysical rationale apologetic. It's casuistry grounded in withdrawal from commutative civil distributive justice and realist ethical polis society. You need to go back to Aristotle. Obviously this is nonsense, so I replied, objectivism is objectivism, not libertarianism. Ayn Rand liked Aristotle, and the fact you said all this shows that you're basing your opinions on emotions and the opinions of others, not reason. Check your premises and read the sources. Then, of course, he falsely accused me of an ad hominem projection, which I pointed out that it wasn't, but the point is that a lot of people weren't happy. They were adamant that I'd lost my mind and was entering into a world of sin and immorality. And many have said that objectivism is a cult, that Ayn Rand cheated on her husband and couldn't live up to her own ethics, and claimed social security, which she shouldn't have done if she followed the philosophy she set up, even though she'd been forced to pay into social security the whole of her life, blah blah blah. So clearly, me going to this conference was going to be a bad thing, right? Well, I've been to university, and I've been to conferences and conventions before, but never once have I been in a room with so many incredibly intelligent people. I have never experienced anything like it. Not only were they intelligent, but they had a passion for life and living life. They were happy. They were genuinely happy people. They weren't faking it like so many people do, just going through the motions because they've been told that that's what other people expect. They were being honest. They were both happy and incredibly intelligent people. And I was shocked. I was shocked because when I came to objectivism, I had focused on the metaphysics and epistemology, the theories of reality and knowledge. This was necessary for me to continue to do my history videos. So, I needed an objective theory of history because the lamestream history theory just doesn't work and led me to almost throw in the towel. See my video on that. So I hadn't studied the objectivist ethics. I knew that Ayn Rand was focused on selfishness and happiness, but I didn't look into those things too deeply because it just wasn't the priority for me. So for the most part, I had neglected the ethics, the happiness and the self-interest in Ayn Rand's philosophy. Thus, I was the odd one out. I was surrounded by a crowd of happy people who weren't reliant on a cocktail of medications to get them through the day. Now, that's not me, I don't take medications, but practically everyone else in real life does. I could have perhaps matched these people in intelligence, but I wasn't anywhere near them in terms of happiness. Saying that, I was happy when I was there with them, and I was very happy. The whole experience was great. I shook hands with a lot of decent people who were interested in history or their own passions. I wish the whole of society was like them. This world would be a much better place. Life would be fun for a change. There was one guy at the conference, and I won't say his name, who told me that he had been so miserable that he had been on the brink of committing Sudoku last year. Thank you, YouTube censorship. But he stumbled into my videos, watched the one where I recommended Peikoff's book, read it, then read the other objectivist literature, and he's in a much better place now. He was thanking me for introducing him to objectivism, and now he's probably happier than I am. I think there's two lessons here. First, I didn't realize the impact I was having on other people. And secondly, if you've not read anything by Ayn Rand or Peikoff or whoever, and you've been putting it off because your ideology or your religion says otherwise, but you're not living the best life you could, or you're not happy with where you are in life, or you're reluctant because you think it'll be above your head, I would take a chance. Pick up Ayn Rand's novels, especially The Fountainhead or Atlas Shrugged, or if you're like me and don't like fiction, Peikoff's book, The Cause of Hitler's Germany, also called The Ominous Parallels, is highly recommended. You could try Ayn Rand's For the New Intellectual, or The Virtuous Selfishness, which is the one I'm currently working my way through, step by step. And I'm sure others will be giving their recommendations in the comments below. You might get away with listening to the fiction on audiobook, but the non-fiction really needs to be taken in slowly, line by line, because it's profound. I was indoctrinated in my childhood into a very altruistic outlook where other people come first and I must contribute to society. One which demands that I work for it and never gives me anything back in return because I don't deserve it, and I shouldn't be so selfish. So to me, reading these books, it's night and day, and I can now see where I was deceived. I was deceived by what I would classify as an evil ideology of self-sacrifice. And, if you are unhappy with your life, well, you have nothing to lose. I'd also say that if you've read some of Ayn Rand's books or read some of the objectivist non-fiction and you're interested in the philosophy and the ideas, but you've never been to a conference before, it's actually, worth it. I wasn't sure about it beforehand, especially since I've been so burnt out recently. I just wasn't in a good place before the conference, but it turned out to be a really enjoyable experience for me, and it's inspired me to sort this burnout out once and for all. I think it's, there's another conference in May, which I'm not yet sure if I'm going to, but whether I go or not is irrelevant. You really should be looking into going to that, or another one in the future. I did do a talk at the conference with Nikos, who's an ex-communist turned objectivist, and I spent the first day in Berlin with him and his girlfriend going to the Brandenburg Gate and so on. And it was fun, and I really enjoyed giving the talk, which was the first time I've ever done a talk in front of real people. I've given presentations in school and university and work, but this was the first time talking about this job and history in general. So I think it was recorded, and I think, I'm not sure if it's going up on my channel or theirs, but I'll let you know either way. I had a blast doing the talk, and I think the audience liked it too, as many came up to me afterwards to compliment me on it. Most of them looked engaged, which is the main thing, but in hindsight, I'm certain I could have done a better job with my answers and explanations during the talk itself. One of the questions I answered, I gave a very practical answer, whereas in hindsight, I realised that I should have given a more philosophical or ideological answer. It was the one on why the Soviets and Germans kept fighting, and the short answer is that it's two religions going at each other. But, that's a lesson that I've taken away, so I'll get better at it, I'm sure. But yes, I really enjoyed giving the talk, and I also enjoyed listening to the others give their talks too. On the table I was on, there was an interesting and heated discussion about whether objectivism was libertarian or not. Someone said it was. I pointed out that it wasn't. And then there were two groups having a civil but fairly heated discussion over it. And it went back and forth until we posed the question to Onkar, Tara and Nikos, who confirmed that it wasn't libertarianism. But yes, it was great. It was really good to see people interacting like that, for that issue and others too. I didn't get a chance to speak much with Onkar or Tara, which I do regret. I just got swamped by other people. On a few occasions, there was a crowd around me, which was nice. It was good to get to know everyone. People were asking me a lot of questions, and it's surprising how many people were interested in history or YouTube. So I was happy to answer them as best I could. And I wasn't expecting any of this. I didn't know what to expect going into it, but I've been to meetings and whatnot before, and this was totally different to anything I've seen in the past. Seeing so many happy and intelligent people, it's just made me realize that I shouldn't have neglected the objectivist ethics. I postponed looking into it because I needed the other stuff first, which is fair enough, but now I realize that I need to learn the ethics more than anything else. It may not have been, but I think it was Tal Safani, the CEO of the Ayn Rand Institute, who said to me that the spark in my motor was out. And yeah, he was right. And I realize now, having been to this conference and having met so many wonderful people who actually are happy, that I need to stop. It's been 5 years of burnout, and nothing I've done to try and cure it has worked. Back in the day, I would feel guilty if I didn't do a minimum of 8 hours of work every single day. Now, I'm barely able to concentrate for more than 5 minutes, just wanting to give up. And I'm probably operating at like 1% efficiency, and I'm totally miserable the whole time. And since I'm not one to just give in, I've been dragging myself to my desk in order to just keep this going, but it's not happening. I need to stop making these videos until I've killed the altruism that's currently eating away at me. So I've decided to stop all production. I've put the handbrake on, and I'm going to fix the engine. And it's interesting because when I came back from the conference and I made this decision, my friends were like, "Yeah, you need to stop," as if like they've been waiting for me to say this. They were in total agreement, and I think they've all been worried about me. So yes, I am going to rest, and I'm going to read into the objectivist ethics, and I need to fix my motivation. I know this isn't what anyone wants to hear, and I know I'm going to lose even more Patreons, and it's going to cost me even more money, but I'd rather take the hit now than be miserable forever. I've no idea how long this is going to take or what will happen when I get back, but I'm not willing to suffer anymore, so, it is what it is. I should clarify that while the conference made me realize that I needed to stop, the burnout was a major problem beforehand, and that's why the video frequency has been dropping. And I'll also point out that people were complaining in the last video that the will that Mr. H believes in is just to do with morale. They said it is not anything to do with God or anything else. But on the plane to the conference, I read into Schopenhauer and Nietzsche, both of whom Mr. H really likes, and I saw that Mr. H was actually getting the idea of will from them. It's the will to power and the will to life. So no, it's not just a morale issue, and I wish you people would have more confidence in me. And I think, actually, that this is one of the major issues that I've been having. The fact that I put so much effort in, I read all the books, and I present my findings only to be told that I'm wrong and that I've wasted my time. Then these people decide not to watch the non-tank videos, hurting the performance of all of them, even though I'm actually right. And it's just that they can't fathom it. I mean, what is the point of even doing this? And why do I even care? Why do I care that these people disagree? I mean, if a bunch of people want to believe that the moon is made of cheese and won't watch my videos saying that it's not, why am I so concerned by that? And I don't know. And this is what I need to figure out. This is what I need to change. Anyway, rant over. So, I'll leave it there. But one more thing before I go. I was told that objectivism was a cult. And so I was expecting some animal sacrifices and secret handshakes. But there wasn't any, there wasn't even a single prayer session to Ayn Rand. There were no burning of effigies. And I, for one, I'm disappointed. I was expecting a nutty town of rancid rabbit holes, and all I saw was the complete opposite. I then flew home, and what do I see? Nutty towns filled with rancid rabbit holes who can barely tie their own shoelaces together. So I guess then the only conclusion we can come to is that the critics are completely irrational and best ignored. Let's see if I can internalize that now. Thanks for watching. Thank you to the people at the conference. It was lovely to meet you all. Thank you for the invite. And yeah, I'll see you all after the break. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.